Schumacher fabric back vinyl. When do you cut your corners and when do you not? The rule is never, don't ever cut your corners, except if you have to. So let me show you, show them the corner and then go and get the little square. And I'm going to show you why you need to cut your corner. First of all, I'm going to point out the obvious. You see these buckles? They're not air pockets. This is caused by a lack of plumb in the sheetrock. So if I move it against this wall, I have a gap here. That's significant. Let me show you the more significant gap. Look at this. If your square is, look at this. If your square is moving there, I have 1/4 of an inch there toward this end of it. See that gap? And so that's what causes this. But still, as a wallpaper hanger, you try not to cut it. You stretch and pull. Because we have a doorway here and we can kind of avoid it. But in this case, I had to cut it. Okay? So here, you hold the camera and let me show them. So we cut it, but don't move your wallpaper. We want to land the threads in the same area where we cut them from. You want to move it as little as possible. So you understand how this is caused? It's unfortunate, but hey. So I'm trying to tell you when to cut. When I started hanging paper, people were like, just cut it all the time. That's ridiculous. You lose something when you, first of all, you lose pattern. I don't care how small the cut is, you're gonna lose part of the pattern. But in today's day and age, you take pictures. You're working for people, they say, oh, you cut my wallpaper, you weren't supposed to. So, no, a lot of people don't understand this very important thing about corners that are off plumb. They'll say you messed up their pattern. Some people, not everybody. But you have to be able to understand why you cut it and why it was necessary, all right? This is a Schumacher fabric back vinyl. This is high-end stuff. So right off the bat, you know, you better have the right answers. So I'll show you how, another way to tell your corners are. Come over here. So here's my seam. You can see, get close up. You're not on the right angle. You need to be over here. Okay, but let me point to them. Show them this. Yes, right there. Okay, so you see my line, the cut. Now watch this. Watch, you see this? Because it's not fitting in. This is, don't forget, this is square. These are all angles. These are all right angles, but not this corner. And so we got this to deal with. And we have a cut that looks like it's wavy, but it's not wavy. It's just not fitting in there. You see, if I pull off my pattern and mess with it, I lose this juncture here. Okay, so let's do our best. But my point is, don't panic. You gotta cut it sometimes. So you do your best. Okay. So, let's get all this stuff out of here. Boy, that's a pain. This is what I'm gonna decide to do. Hold this up. Because I do not like this thing. You have to understand what hanging wallpaper really is. It's actually carpentry. It's forgivable carpentry. You cut it too short, you can stretch it a bit. If it's not straight, you can move it. And so if your corners are off, your carpentry finished product is going to be a little off. But your job is to hide it, to hide all those imperfections, all right? And that's what we do. We hide them. Doesn't make us liars. It just makes us finish, what they call finished professionals. All right. Finish. All right, now, show them that seam now. Nice and slowly up and down that seam. I don't like the angle you're showing them. Let's get it better. When you show an angle, let's get it nice and close, because otherwise, you're not showing my weaknesses or my success. That's what I want them to see, just like that. Right. So you see how beautifully it fits? I mean, look, as paper hangers, we're perfectionists by nature. You don't want to cut this. But sometimes you have to. Just to make sure that you can get it in there without any buckles. And this is still an issue. I don't like that. But that's from the wall being off. I got to work that out. All right, so that's the deal. All right, so let them watch me do the rest of it. What the heck? All right. Just worry about the camera and I'll do everything else. And you'll be good. Now, how do we avoid cutting people's woodwork, right? You don't want to do that. It's not professional. My suggestion is you use a scissor. Or you just hope that you do it right. Actually, when you do this a lot, you be very careful. I'm pointing it out so you don't do it too quickly and cut somebody's woodwork. Please watch out for the woodwork. Because people look. They take a look at it and say, hey, you cut my woodwork. Especially if you got a woman or a guy who's hung paper before. Like me. I'm gonna look in my house. Okay, so here we go. We got a good job over here. Very nice. Very nice so far. Push that in there, make a natural crease. Schumacher is very beautiful stuff. But, you know, it's not always practical. Now, why am I hanging my first sheet here? Well, I started a video and I got a telemarketer that interrupted the video. So, I discontinued it. I talked to the customer. I suggest you do this too. I started over here because this is only 18 inches of mismatch. This is my beginning point. When I come around to the end, you and I both know that the beginning and the end will not match unless we have a miracle. But since it's only 18 inches, the customer said, do the mismatch over there. And I'm going to reserve the right to use my skill to somehow make this look like it all matches. And we'll get to that at the end. All right? So what do you think, folks? We got out the ugly buckles. And I only want you to cut the corners if you have an uneven corner and that it's all messed up. Because otherwise, leave your corners intact. Why not? Oh, gosh. What a pain. This stuff is really good quality. It's hard to cut through. Okay. No, don't worry about that. My cameraman wants to do everything. Can't always do that. Never pull on it. I saw another guy on YouTube. He's correct. Don't waste all the good work you've done. When you have a little one that's still connected, don't pull on it and then blow it and then you tear your wall covering. All right. So there you have it. One more cut. Now if the cameraman can just hold this with one hand and hold the camera with the other, that would be awesome. But don't put too much pull on it because we want it nice. Get the action there. From behind my head. Can they see that?
Yeah.
Good. I don't want the people who follow me, I don't want them moving the knife along their spatula. I want them to move simultaneously. I got it. I want them to move with it. There's a reason for it. So sometimes I'll start from the bottom because I'm limited space here, folks. It's not easy. It's easier to just pick and choose where you want to start your knife, okay? Somebody's saying that knife came close to his eye, and they're right. They're right. Alright, so, and this is just basic stuff. Everybody that follows my channel knows how to do this. Well, here's something that I like to do. Look, I go right in the corner. Get a zoom in on this. We have two 90s overlapping, right? Making it a 45. So here's what I do. I just go right up in the corner. Look what I do. I kind of start the cut so I don't have any gaps in there. You never know, you know, if you don't cut it tight enough. I'll show them more evidence of how the corner's jacked up. I'm seeing it right now. And the people who've been hanging for a while, they can already see it. Okay, so let's go back to that issue I was just talking about. I was up in Wisconsin for a while. No offense to any other Americans, but they are the nicest Americans I've ever met. Honestly. What is that? A massive dent in the wall. We'll do something with that. Nicest Americans I've ever met. You know, and good looking Americans too. All right. Okay, so check it out. I show them this, show them that. You see that little piece that's overlapping there? That's a good 1/4 of an inch. That's how much my corner is off. Okay, can they really see it? Get in close. You see that? Yeah, they can see. You see that white edge there? Look at all that overhang. That's from the corner being messed up. Okay, back up. Okay. So what do you do with that corner? All right, let's not keep them guessing. If they're homeowners and they want to know, hey, what do I do with that? I want you to do this with it. Here's what I want you to do. Since we all want to be perfect, right? Here's what you do. Take this out, because you don't want to cut this. You need this paper. You cannot overcut this. Okay, cameraman, use your right hand to hold this paper up, just like that. Use your other hand to get in there and show them what's going on here. What I'm going to do is cut that little piece off. That's how much it's overhanging into the corner, because the corner was way off and I had to adjust my paper, right? So you just cut it off. And the reason why you want to move that paper is if you void too much wall covering there, you're going to have, the wall is going to be visible. Trust me when I tell you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just leave that wallpaper right there. Don't try to cut it. You guys who hang paper, you know what I'm talking about. All right. And that is how you cut Schumacher wallpaper in the corner only when necessary. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.